person, but I've known for, well, 30 years. We were both 5 years old at the time. And Deanna Lund, a lady that has had quite a background and experience, but when it comes to acting, that was not her role. She wanted to be a country singer.
Yes, I did, but unfortunately, I didn't have the pipes to go along with it, or the courage, I guess. But I love to sing in the shower.
And you care to tell people who you secretly, as a young girl, wanted to marry and then you were upset because he got married?
Fred knows all my secrets. I mean, it's pretty scary when somebody knows every little thing about you. I confessed in a weaker moment that I had such a crush on Roy Rogers. I saw all his films. Oh, I don't know how many times. It's the only films that I went to see, and I think my mother thought I had a crush on Gabby Hayes, but no, I love the I loved Roy Rogers, and when he married Dale Evans, who was perfect for him, I mean, she was me, obviously. Um, it broke my heart, but that's another story.
Well, now, what led you into film? And I know that's the type of question you're asked all the time, but this audience may like to know what led you into film and television.
Well, I never did anything in high school but ride my horse, and I had problems with one class, and that was speech. I could not get up in front of a bunch of people, kids at the time, and talk. I would just shrivel up and die, and so it's the only grade that I got that was below my average. You know, it was pretty bad. So when I went to college, I wanted to be an anthropologist, but my father enrolled me in an acting class because he thought that I needed to get out of myself more and, get freer with being able to speak in front of people, for later in life. But he created a monster. But the first play I did, I was so bad. I went up on every line. It was the short one-act play of Tennessee Williams called "This Property is Condemned," and I just was terrified. So I don't know why I didn't get kicked out of my acting group, but I did another play called The Crucible, and I played Abigail. And when everybody came after the play to the green room, everybody snarled at me. And I realized what a wonderful thing it was to have everybody hate you when you were trying to make them do that. You know, I mean, it was like a whole new world that I had some control over, and I could make people believe what I was doing. So that hooked me. And then after that, every play that I did, I loved. And I probably should have stuck to stage acting, but one thing led to another. While I was in college, I got a couple of films, and then I got an offer to come to Hollywood, and that didn't work out. The agent turned out to be a lech, and career or no career, that's never been my thing. I never wanted to be a star. I always wanted just to work. And I used to pray that I would never win anything because I still didn't think I could get up in front of people and talk, remember everybody's name that you had to thank and all that. But I did want to work, and I had two children to support. So um, it worked out. I was very lucky. I was able to get a lot of work, not great stuff, but eventually I did a movie when it came out and I saw it. They played it at the studio for me. I had received this job from a, a movie that I did. I got a television series, so it actually must not have been that horrible. But when they played it for me, I was so embarrassed. I played a lesbian stripper that I had my name taken off the
There's Tony Rowe.
credits. Yes, with Frank Sinatra, And I was so embarrassed that my family would be embarrassed that I had stripped down to my bra and panties. And in those days, that was pretty risque, you know. So I took it off. That was a big mistake. But anyway, I did it. And I loved doing Land of the Giants.
Well, it was landed. I understand Irwin Allen Salva rushes from there,
Yes.
and he hired you right immediately as Valerie Ames Scott, and
Yes.
that was kind of a fun thing. It was science fiction, and you used to tell us about all these great stars, but because you had to be one of the little people, green screen, you really didn't get to see them.
No, we didn't. It was such fun to see the show after because, or you'd see them on the sheets who was working, and they were marvelous people, but they played giants, and so we wouldn't really see the giants, you know. We'd act to a Klieg light.
What I find fascinating is that Giants has fans overseas to this day. And MeTV is going to be starting the series. And there have been folks, well, you yourself considered doing a script and talking about, and you even have a book which is still on sale, Valerie in Giantland.
Yes, well, I came up with this idea of what would happen 10 years, I wish now it had been 20 years, but later, you know, and so it was sort of a diary of the experiences after the show was canceled. Had the show gone on another year, they had already planned what was going to happen, and that was that Mark and I were actually going to get married on the show by a real live minister. And I overheard Irwin at one of the board parties, and he was talking to the boss of programming, who was, I think it was Elton Rule, and he said, "Yeah, and we're going to get married, blah blah blah," and then 9 months later, and I was eavesdropping, and I said, "Wait a minute, wait, we didn't agree to that." So they laughed, and it turned out 9 months after we got married, I did have a baby. So had we, it all would have been. I'm sure they probably would have wanted me to have the birth on camera, you know. And later, I don't know. I guess the idea was good because they had what's his name get married, Tiny Tim or something on camera. So
Well, and of course, the Lucy show had Little Ricky, too. It would have worked. And Don Matheson was quite a power in your life. And you have, in addition to two children you mentioned, a lovely actress daughter and author, Michelle.
Michelle Matheson, now Michelle Matheson Manzette. But yeah, and she's also had a book published. So she's quite a Renaissance woman. She's really, really very talented. Of course, I may be prejudiced, but that's what mothers are.
Well, again, you're a great family person. And what I like very much, you're very involved in charities and you work with Connie Stevens and hurricane relief. And you, big thing, is rescuing dogs and cats. And I would think Victory Television has a special channel devoted to that. That
Oh my
you would
gosh.
be great because they love to have you, and you have all these other people you know that about animal rescue. That would
Yes.
be fantastic. Deanna, it's always great to spend time with you. You've had such a varied life. You've had to go up against some real hard knocks, and yet you've been a champion. I mean, you've come through it every time. And so, thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, but I'm very lucky. I mean, I've been so blessed in my life, and I think you've helped me really bring God into my life full force. So I thank you for that, Dr. Fred.
Well, love to see you on that one channel I was telling you about. And this is the right area talking about as the spiritual and religious, because I think you're a perfect match. Thank you so very, very